linebackers developing, especially the
Linebackers. You know, last year, you know, we moved Will Herring up, and he was basically a safety plan linebacker, and it just gave us some experience, a guy that could fit in. But there's several players that are really doing well. Merrill Johnson's a guy. If we're going to have a good football team defensively, Merrill's going to be a big key to it. You know, he's a guy that's got tremendous explosion. The position he plays, you got to cover a lot of ground. He's learning pass defense. He's got to relax a little bit more on his blitzes. Sometimes he's a little bit too mechanic. And when you play defense, and the defense that we play, where you're given responsibilities, sometimes you got to make a play with athletic ability, and it means that you got to be a little bit more flexible in your rush or whatever. You know, I think right now he's just a little too mechanical, but he's getting better at that. Craig Stevens is going to be a big key. Craig had a good spring, not a great one. He didn't stick his head in there, or you know, like we thought he would. Just mentally get going. Sometimes he would. He knew what to do, but he wouldn't turn it loose, and then that's just a sign of a young guy playing. And when you play in the SEC on Saturday afternoons or Saturday nights, I mean, you got to play full speed, and he's playing a little bit more at that speed in two-a-days. Over the summer, he's learned a lot. He's worked with some of the other guys. He's going to be a big key to what we're doing after losing Patrick Trahan. So those two guys on the outside are athletic. You know, they can get the job done. But again, I think the two scrimmages we got coming up will tell the tale on them. And then, of course, we know Chris and Trey inside. Both of those guys are working well and learning more of what we're doing. Again, we're being a little bit more flexible with our linebackers this year on defense. Last year, in this first year of this defense, we didn't do a lot with them, and this year we're going to be a little bit more athletic, and we're going to put them in situations where they can use their ability a little bit more in terms of types of stunts and blitzes we use with them, and try to put a little bit more pressure with the linebackers other than just with the defensive line.
What have you seen from the receivers, especially Rod, how he's helping the younger guys?
You know, Rod got off to a slow start. He got kicked in the shin the first day and missed a couple of practices, but he's going to be fine. Rod's going to be a playmaker for us. He understands the offense, and he's a guy that's non-assuming. You don't really notice he's out there until he does make a big play. You know, we're only going to be as good as the guys playing around him, though. Appreciate Rodriguez has got to step up. I've seen good things out of him the last few days. Robert Dunn, been a pleasant surprise, his attitude, and you know, he came in the summer and made I think 4 A's in summer school, and I've just seen a change of attitude of his work ethic and his wanting to be a real good football player. And he's doing things after practice, before practice, and he's also going to be a key, an inside receiver, and this offense is very valuable. Tim Hawthorne's starting to make better catches. You know, the thing about Tim is he's got the body, he's got the size, speed. He's starting to learn the offense, and hadn't been as consistent as what we would like catching the ball. But I think once he starts getting the offense down a little bit better, I think that's going to come. And again, he's got 4 years left. A key to our wide receivers is going to be James Swinton. James has been with us, what now, 3 years? Probably one of the faster guys on the team. He's got good open field speed. He's got to just learn to catch the ball in tighter situations. And, you know, on deep balls, sometimes the defensive backs get to pushing and shoving, and he doesn't fight well enough for the ball. He's learning to do that. And there's little things like that. It's going to have to come across to James for us to, you know, be a little bit better big play team. And if we're going to have big plays, his speed's going to have to be part of that. One of the freshmen that's really caught my eye is Quindarius Carr. And he's really going to be a good football player. He's elusive. He's not that tall. He's got real good open field speed. He uses his body well. I like his attitude. He wants to learn. Whether he's going to make it into the rotation this year, I don't know, but he's working really hard. It's been fun to watch him, you know, just jump in and take the bull by the horn, so to speak, and let the older players know, hey, he wants to play. And the guys that put their arm around him a little bit kind of pulled him in, say, if you want to learn, let's go. And he's done a real good job.
Pat, Pat Sims has had a good couple of years. How important is it for him for this to be the year for him?
Yeah, Pat is, he's came back with a different attitude, really coming off the ball well, and he's just a force on the defensive line. And he's been around, he's gone through some tough times, and there was a time he wasn't on this team, but his attitude, he's a team leader. He used to be one of those, you jump on him and, he'd go the other way on you. And sometimes players are like that, they've never been corrected or pushed to some extent. But Pat is starting now to understand, hey, we're out there for him to make him better, and he could be one of the better defensive linemen to play here if he continues to improve.
Coach, how important are two-a-days, and are they more tough mentally or physically? What's your philosophy on that?
Yeah, two-a-days, for some reason we're going longer. We started almost practicing in July now, and you've got a full month. And the biggest thing is meetings. Have an opportunity to watch a lot of film, learn. You need to get on the field and have film taken of you, such as the young guys, and so they can understand, the fundamentals and techniques. I like what we're doing now. We've gone 5 days and we've gone one time a day, and you can get a lot of that. Now, if you started the 10th or the 12th like you used to, it'd be tough to do it, one time a day. Well, I think we have 4 or 5 two-a-days. One time in pads, which will be tomorrow morning, then tomorrow night will be just shoulder pads, and more of that is going to be fundamentals. But it also gives you time to work, on two-a-days on a lot more in your kicking game in one practice, and you don't have to jam everything into one. So there's some good and bad, but this is summer camp. Summer camp meaning there's no classes. It's football 24 hours a day. Guys laying around sleeping, trying to catch up, but also looking at their playbooks and cramming as much in as they can in a 3-week period before we start practice for Kansas State. And that's what it's all about. You got to grow up in this time, but it's been hot and dry. Going out on these intramural fields is not fun. It's hard. It's like practicing on concrete. Our guys look forward to getting back to the practice fields in about a week or so.
Talk a little bit about the backup quarterback.
Yeah, I've been real pleased, and I'm pretty hard on quarterbacks, watching them and critiquing them, sitting down with Al and talking about the guys that we've got, and just coming out of spring ball, just nobody really caught your eye on a guy, maybe not throwing a perfect pass, but throwing a nice spiral, just getting it there on time, and we didn't feel good about the point where all those guys were. Most of them are young. The guy that really has caught my eye the first 5 days is Steven Insminger. Is throwing the ball a lot better with more authority. He's learning what to do. That's not to say he's a backup right now. Blake Field's doing a good job, but Blake's tricked us before. Last year I had a good two-a-days and we'd get in scrimmages, and he just didn't. We didn't have the consistency, and that's what you look at of a quarterback. And maybe he'll do that this year. Neil Cottle, you got to remember, Neil hadn't played much football in the last 4 years or 3 years. Hurt in his junior year and his senior year with knee surgery, and last year he didn't play, and he's starting to learn this offense. So it's all coming together for him. Brandon, being sick the first couple of days, give him a chance to have a few more reps. And again, Cody's going to be a good one in this league. He's, as I said, he can run, can throw, he wants to learn, and all the other guys have kind of pulled him in and really helping him. And he's going to be fun to watch.
When you watch film of the backups, in the back of your mind, you're thinking about next year's starting quarterback.
Oh yeah. This is just like a spring practice for next year too, and that's what we're thinking about. Every time one guy takes a snap, you keep looking for somebody to throw a spark into the team that, hey, this guy could be the guy that's getting ready to play against whoever we open up with next year. Who I really don't know who that is, but we always keep that in the back of our mind, and we'll keep that also in the back of our mind when we pick number 2 going into this fall. That will probably be the leader in the clubhouse, so to speak, going into spring practice, because that guy's going to get a lot of reps, along with number 3, and then, of course, 4 and 5 is going to be down there wandering around with me at the scout team. So a lot of pressure on these kids, knowing that they're trying to get on the traveling squad, at quarterback.